But be careful, it's like a tiger or a lion or a wolf or something like that. And you ain't got enough food for them one day, you can come to food.
We can tell it's not Pilgrim because that cat has white on his face. Pilgrim doesn't. All right, we're ready. We've actually got the Williamses with us tonight too.
Brother Jay,
They were here this morning.
I do a song reading while they Brother Joe who's preaching.
Well, we'll see if I can do that. If Donna calls, she's kind of out of it. She may call after answer. So here it is.
There's 4 of us here he's going to be preaching to. I don't think. Okay. Well, the ones inside this building, don't worry about it too much.
I think this is going to change our perception of what church services actually are.
Our invitation song is going to be 122. I don't work you, dear. And Lisa, if you buy the lumber, I could probably build your steps for you today.
Huh?
You buy the lumber, I could build your steps for you in a day. Very easily.
Wow, I might do that. Wow.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Mark 122 for invitation.
People are on the online waiting.
Oh. First song will be 115. Everybody jump up and start singing. First song is 115. Jesus is all the world to me, my life, my joy, my all. He is my strength from day to day. Without him I would fall. When I am sad, to him I go. No other one can cheer me so. When I'm sad, he makes me glad. He's my friend. Jesus is all the world to me, my friend in trial sore. I go to him for blessings and he gives them more and more. He sends the sunshine and the rain. He sends the harvest golden grain. Sunshine and rain, harvest of grain. He's my friend. Jesus is all the world to me, and true to him I'll be. Oh, how could I live and deny when he's so true to me? Following him, I know I'm right. He watches over me day and night. Following him by day and night. He's my friend. Jesus is all the world to me. I want no better friend. I trust him now. I trust him when life's fleeting days shall end. Beautiful life with such a friend. Beautiful life that has no end. Eternal life, eternal joy. He's my friend. For opening prayer, let's sing 121. 121. What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arm. What a blessedness, what a peace of mind, leaning on the everlasting arm. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarm. Leaning on the everlasting arm. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arm. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarm. Leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarm. Leaning on the everlasting arms.
Shall we pray? Our Lord, most gracious Heavenly Father, we once again thank you for this privilege of coming together and worshiping you. We ask you to be with us this evening, help us to worship you in a manner that is pleasing in your sight. We ask you to look upon this small congregation, dear Heavenly Father, help us to do the things that you would have us to do. Please heal the ones that are sick and unable to be here this day. Be with the country, dear Heavenly Father, as we deal with this coronavirus. We ask that you help us to find a cure for it and to move us on into a more peaceful situation. Be with all of us, dear Heavenly Father, to our needs, and be with those who are ill. And be with us as we worship. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I've already told you all to turn the mark, right?
Yes.
Now let's turn to scene number 482 before the lesson. 482. If the skies above you are gray, you are feeling so blue. If your cares and burdens seem great all the whole day through, there's a silver lining that shines in the heavenly light. Look by faith and see it, my friend, trust in his promises grand. Singing, you'll be happy today, press along to the goal. Trust in him who leadeth the way, he is keeping your soul. Let the world know where you belong, look to Jesus and pray. Lift your voice and praise him in song, sing and be happy today. Often we are troubled and tired, sick with sorrow and pain. There are others living in sin, blessed with earthly gain. Take new courage, we cannot tell what tomorrow may bring. When the dark clouds vanish away, then your truly can sing. Sing and you'll be happy today, press along to the goal. Trust in Him who leadeth the way, He is keeping your soul. Let the world know where you belong, look to Jesus and pray. Lift your voice and praise Him in song, sing be happy today. Oh, if we fail to see the rainbow up in heaven's fair sky, when it seems the fortunes of earth frown and pass us by, there are things we know that are worth more than silver and gold. If we hope and trust in each day, we shall have pleasure untold. Sing and you'll be happy today, press along to the goal. Trust in Him who leadeth the way, He is keeping your soul. Let the world know where you belong, look to Jesus and pray. Lift your voice and praise Him in song, sing and be happy today.
Good evening. I'm going to speak a little louder. I'm going to turn. We've got several people who have joined us for our Zoom meeting tonight. Tonight, we're going to continue our discussion of the Psalms, and we're going to talk about 3 of the Psalms of David. And they all have to do with this word, integrity. Integrity, what does this mean? This means, well, here's a dictionary definition, which I'm not really fond usually of, because dictionary definitions of words are not the way we use words. That's called denotation. Connotation is how we use them. Adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, honesty, moral soundness, honesty, freedom from corrupting influence or motive. All those mean wonderful things. I think every one of them is right. But really, what integrity is the ability to and the idea of doing the right thing even when no one's watching. For no other reason than it's the right thing. To me, that's what the Bible means when it says righteousness. Doing the right thing simply because it is the right thing. Psalms 26, beginning with verse 1. The Psalm of David. Vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity. I have also trusted in the Lord, I shall not slip. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my mind and my heart, for your loving kindness is before my eyes, and I have walked in your truth. That's the definition of integrity, doing the right thing for the right thing. He invites God to judge him. I had a student not too long ago, in fact, it was online a couple of weeks ago. He said, give us a test, do it, and give it to us right now. He knew it. He knew. We were talking about the Fourth Amendment, when police can search you without a warrant, when they can't, when they have to have a warrant. He knew that stuff. He read it. He knew that stuff. He was ready. In the same way, as a Christian, we should be able to say the same thing. Examine me, prove me, try my mind and heart. You're going to find that I'm a person of integrity. In 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 5, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. When we begin with our thoughts, the victory is there. When we begin with our thoughts, then the victory is always going to be there. Look at the rest of it. I have not sat with idolatrous mortals, nor will I go in with hypocrites. I have hated the assembly of evildoers and will not sit with the wicked. He made up his mind that he would hate the evil way and he would stay away from people who followed it. Now there's a way to keep away from a lot of sinning in this world and unrighteousness and evil in this world. Stay away from people that practice that lifestyle. Don't go out of your way to be with those people. And yet, I hear this, and I have my entire career. People brag about being able to be around. Well, preacher, I can be around people who do whatever. And it don't bother me a bit. But why would you want to be around people doing that anyway? Years ago, I tried to talk to an individual who was very, very inebriated. He was sorry, he was drunk, he was upset that he was drunk. I was a young man. I was in my early 20s. Doing what I thought was the work of Christ, and I really don't think it was now. But I talked to him, and the preacher that was there was a man in his 60s. He'd been doing it for many, many years. He'd been preaching for 40 years. Telling me he preached on the weekends, and he was an insurance salesman during the week where I'm a school teacher. He said, Joe, I want to tell you one thing I want you to always remember. Ain't nothing to do with a drunk but two things. Get drunk with him or leave him alone. And that's about right. Get away from people who are doing that. I didn't mind talking to this guy. In fact, I talked to him for hours. I never told anybody who he was. I never told anybody what I'd seen. And I talked to him many times for hours after that. He was interested. He was an older man. He was interested in the same things I was. But I didn't have any business being there while he was drunk. That's not going to help anything. And you'll know I'm telling you the truth if you've ever tried to reason with somebody who is drunk. They don't reason. The best thing you can do, the only reason you can do is take the keys away and walk away. 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 11. But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone named a brother who is sexually immoral or covetous or an idolater or a reviler or a drunkard or an extortioner, nor even to eat with such a person. Sexually immoral can mean many things. In this case, it probably means someone who worships idols. That was part of idolatrous worship. Don't keep company with these people, not even to eat with such a person. He's talking about the withdrawal of fellowship. No, he's talking about good common sense. Stay away from folks who are practicing sin while they're practicing sin. If they're in church and they're a sinner, talk to them, be with them, eat with them, talk to them, study with them, encourage them. If they're out in the world sinning, stay away from them. Oh, because I could be, no. It could be that. But in many other ways, there's not anything you can do. If somebody is engaged in sin, what are you going to do? Knock them down and bring them out? It ain't going to happen. Psalms 26 and verse 6. I will wash my hands in innocence. So I will go about your altar, O Lord, that I may proclaim with the voice of thanksgiving and tell all of your wondrous works. Well, in the early days, and even up till recent, oddly enough, we'll be talking about this now with the washing of hands. You remember Pilate at Jesus' trial? And this is many hundreds of years later after King David wrote this. He wanted to proclaim his innocence in the crucifixion or the mistreatment of Jesus, so he washed his hands publicly. Even as late as the 1600s, Shakespeare wrote it in his play, Macbeth. Macbeth had killed the king, and he tried, and Lady Macbeth actually went crazy and tried. The both of them had killed King Duncan, and they were trying to wash their hands to get the guilt away from them. It's a sign of innocence. That's what David is saying. I will wash my hands in innocence. No matter what's happened, I have tried to remain innocent. Verse 8. O Lord, I have loved the habitation of your house and the place where your glory dwells. Do not gather my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloodthirsty men, in whose hands is a sinister scheme, and whose right hand is full of bribes. In verse 9, David does mention something that he has a big temptation with. David was a warrior. David was a warrior, but he wanted, and he was supposed to be, but he wanted to make sure that he was a warrior as God wanted him to be a warrior. Now, the first part of it, I have loved the habitation of your house and the place where your glory dwells. How come the habitation of your house is the first thing to go when people want to go back in the room. This is, and I do not understand how, and I think it's because how we treat the house of Almighty God. We're going to talk about that more in another psalm too in a minute, but think about it for a moment. Why in the world do we treat the house of God? Why in the world do we try to bribe people to go? What are we concerned with? Getting numbers in our seats? Getting numbers on our board to show everybody else? I don't think we church people look at church the way that it needs to be looked at, even though that's not proper grammar. That's the way we say it in Southeast Georgia. We don't look at church the way it should be looked at. It is a privilege and an honor to go and attend services. And yet, churches, and I'm not talking about just denominations, I'm talking about churches of Christ, we put in programs and fun things and this things and those things just to try to get people to come to our services. I know of several congregations, and I have been a part of a couple of them, who changed the order of their worship so that they can put communion last so that people have to stay until the very end. I have been a part of congregations, people take communion and out they go. Because they have it the way we do, kind of first in the first before sermons or anything else. The sermon's usually the last thing. Well, I always wondered why they left. But I kind of wonder why they came in the first place, too, even more. Why in the world? I wonder why they left, but I wonder why they came at the beginning. What, communion, you just, eat a little bit of cracker and drink some juice and off you go, you're fine. It doesn't work that way. I believe that the communion service is a very holy part of our worship. But it's no holier or less holy than the rest of the worship. But as for me, I will walk in my integrity, redeem me, and be merciful to me. My foot stands in an even place. In the congregations, I will bless the Lord. No matter what happens, David's going to hold on to the integrity that he sought all his life. Evil men may take many things, but this one thing they can't take, integrity, must be given up freely. If you have integrity, no one can take it away from you. If you lose it, you can't say somebody took it. You gave it away. You don't lose it. You actively give it away. Psalms 27 and verse 1. The Psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked come against me to eat up my flesh, my enemies and foes, they stumbled and fell. Though an army may encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this I will be confident. David has been victorious over his enemies his entire life. His first enemy was King Saul. And the enemies, all the nations that were constantly the enemies of Israel, the Philistines, the Moabites, the Amorites, the Ammonites, all of these other very fierce, warlike people, were always enemies of David. And near the end of his life, his enemies were his own sons. Even as he was dying, civil war was breeding in the hills. What I'm trying to make is this: David is not frightened. There's anybody that was a righteous man, he was a man after God's own heart, or a man that walked. It always struck me as a man who walked in the ways of his father David. Every child of David that was called that, who was a good king. Yet he wasn't afraid. Because God will take them away. And that's how something for us too. There is no evil enemy, there is no enemy in this world that we cannot be victorious over. And he repeats this again. Here's the secret to David's success. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that will I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion, in the secret place of his tabernacle he shall hide me. He shall set me high upon a rock, and now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me. Therefore I will offer sacrifices of joy in his tabernacle. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises to the Lord. All right, I'm fixing to show you something. And those at home, something. And those on YouTube, I can't show it to you because the camera's pointed the wrong way. So I have to describe it once I show it. When you see this picture, what do you think of? And what are your emotions? Same picture I saw this morning. But what are your emotions about this place? Is this a place that you look forward to being? Is a place where no matter what, you're going to go? If you're sick, would you ever be sick enough to call in sick at work, but not sick enough at the same time not to go to work? Donna has always done that. Now, she's been awfully sick, especially here lately. She has a few times here lately. I don't think too many people knew this, but she has, when she was coughing or something was happening, or she might be, she has come in after we've started and gone to the back there and sat and listened in there and kept the door open. She's done that several times here lately. And sometimes she's out in the back pew back there. She didn't want anybody to catch whatever we had. I've often said, don't worry about catching stuff here. We're going to get it anyway. Might as well get it in church. I mean, whatever we're going to get, when we have the flu going around, the coughs and the colds and the sneezes. And in Georgia, spring and fall, we're all going to sneeze. We're all going to cough, and we're all going to have allergies and stuff. Because they don't have allergies. You do in Georgia, there's just too much pine pollen. Everybody has trouble with it. Everybody takes Claritin or something, and water and stuff their nose, blows their nose. The thing I'm saying is this: have you ever been too sick to go to work, but at the same point you wouldn't dare miss church? You want to be there. You want to be there. You ever been a fan of Andy Capp? I used to love that cartoon. I haven't watched cartoons. I haven't read the cartoons or the funny papers in years. I don't even know if he's still on. Andy Capp was at a rugby match. It's in England, so it's rugby, it's not football. And a guy beside him said, don't you feel guilty about being in a rugby match on Sunday and not being in church? Andy said, no, I don't feel guilty a bit because the wife's homesick and I'd have to stay home with her. Any excuse will do. Any excuse will do. This bothers me about the church, and I think people's attitude towards the church, I think we've done it. I think we've done it over the course of generations. We've bribed people into coming to church. I don't believe in the hellfire and brimstone, come to church, you're going to hell, and all that kind of stuff, because then they come for the wrong reasons too. But why in the world? Just going to have to put up with that, I'm sorry. Why in the world do we still do that? We still try to bribe people into coming to church. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a smooth path because of my enemies. Do not deliver me to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have arisen against me, and such as breathe out violence. I would have lost heart unless I believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. No matter how hard our lives become, folks, we can still hold our head high, knowing that God is with us and we will be there for us. Wait on the Lord's timing to help us. I desire, therefore, that the men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubt. 1 Timothy 2 and verse 8. Now, Psalms 28. Do not take me away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, who speak peace to their neighbors, but evil is in their hearts. Give them according to their deeds, and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them according to the work of their hands. Render to them what they deserve, because they do not regard the works of the Lord, or the operation of his hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. David does not want to be added to those who have, I had one, I think. Yeah, I did. No. All right, 28 verse 1. To you I will cry, O Lord, my rock. God is described as a rock 33 times in the Old Testament. Something solid and dependable. Do not be silent to me, lest if you are silent to me, I become like those who go down in the pit. Hear the voice of my supplications when I cry to you, when I lift up my hands towards your holy sanctuary. And the 1 Timothy quote that I read is right here. Now, pray always. But if you'll notice, God is described as a rock here. The last psalm, he was described as a light. Well, like I said, God is described as a rock 33 times in the Old Testament. As a light, that's the only place. Now, in the New Testament, it's all over the place. Psalms 23 and verse 8 that I read a minute ago, David doesn't want to be considered with those who do evil things. He wants to step away from those people. He wants to not be a part of those people. They do not regard the works of the Lord, nor the operation of his hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. He knows that if you're wicked through and through. He doesn't want to be lumped into those people. Now, he's not talking about people who are trying to do better. He's talking about the wicked. Folks, you know who they are, as well as I do. People who live wickedly. As Jesus said, for every tree is known by its own fruit. For men do not gather figs from thorns, nor do they gather grapes from a bramble bush. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of his heart, his mouth speaks. Blessed be the Lord, because he has heard the voice of my supplications. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusted in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoices, and with my song I will praise him. The Lord is their strength, for he is the saving refuge of his anointed. Save your people and bless your inheritance. Shepherd them also and bear them up forever. God is our only hope. In heaven, in the afterlife, and in this life as well. If for any reason you stand in need, respond to the Lord's invitation, we come. Together we stand, and as we sing.
122. 122. A wonderful way from God. Now I'm coming home. The paths of sin too long I've trod. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming home. Coming home. Never more to roam. Open wide thy arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home. I've wasted many precious years. Now I'm coming home. I now repent with bitter tears. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming home. Coming home. Never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home. I'm tired of sin and straying, Lord. Now I'm coming home. I trust I will obey thy word. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming home, coming home. Never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home. My soul's aflame, my doom in view, and I'm coming home with open heart and mind anew. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming home, coming home, never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home.
Let us pray. Our Lord, most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for so many things in this life. Especially, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your church. We know that your church was established for a stair step into heaven, a roadmap into heaven. We pray, dear Heavenly Father, that we will always respect the kingdom, and desire to work in it. Be with us now, dear Heavenly Father, as we leave this place. Dismiss us from the service, but never from your presence. Be with us sick, bring them back quickly. As through Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
A couple of announcements, not many. I want to welcome everybody that came to us through the internet. Brother Williams, I will answer your email. I haven't had a chance since I read it right before service started. Like I told you, Donna is going to stay overnight. I hope they find her a room, but Memorial is notorious for not doing that. Dad had to stay in a ward with a bunch of curtains one night. I had to watch TV on his phone for a couple of days until they couldn't find him a room. I hope they can find her one. The odd thing about it is the COVID-19 patients are in a tent outside in the parking lot of the emergency room. They don't let them inside. Which is kind of sad.
Maybe that thing is worse than what we think it is.
I don't know, but that's what
So that's right from the hospital.
that's what they told Donna. I talked to her nurse. She likes Donna. Everybody falls in love with Donna as soon as they meet her. I don't know why. I wish people genuinely like me after they've seen me a few times, but Donna, within 5 minutes, they absolutely want to do anything for her. So be mindful of her. I'll let you know what's going on. I should make a call probably in a second, and I probably will. We're going to have to upgrade. I'm not sure how much it costs, but we're going to have to figure out a way to upgrade. But if we're going to do this, it looks like we're going to for a while. I'll find out how much it costs. They had lifted the restrictions for schools. I guess they haven't for churches. But I'll look at the pricing plans. We probably need to, the next couple of weeks, have a business meeting. We haven't had one in 2 months.
I wanted to bring up something to
Okay.
everybody that's here. One way to know.
Then what?
Financial.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Kitty's birthday was today or tomorrow. I think Maria's is at the end of the month. I mean, end of the week. And somebody else's is coming up soon. I saw that this morning. Oh, Jeff Tornings. Nick's is today. Then Kenny's is tomorrow, Jeff's is Wednesday, and Maria's is Saturday. So we have quite a few birthdays, just that none of them put up there. All right, for those of you on YouTube with us, we'll see you Wednesday.